Hi,
Okay.
everybody. Dr. Belding here with our next installment of our Teacher Spotlight. And I'm so excited to be joined by our GT specialist in Aubrey ISD, Mary Jo Turner. Hi, Ms. Turner.
Hi. Welcome to my classroom. This is one of my classrooms. This is my Monaco classroom. And I traveled to all the elementary. So we're at Monaco today. So
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. And it is neat that you get to go to each elementary school, our three elementaries, and serve kids at each school. So that's pretty special.
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It is.
awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about your background, how many years you've served in education, how many years you've been in Aubrey, and then, go into why you decided to become a teacher.
Okay. All right. So I grew up in Coleman, Texas, and the home of the mighty Blue Cats. And I tell my students, I still am a Blue Cat but I am a very proud chaparral, and a loud, proud chaparral am I. And but I grew up there, and I said, I think I must have come out into the world wanting to be a teacher, because I had the most educated Barbies and baby dolls and stuffed animals, because I loved teaching. I don't know. We would play school all the time, and I loved it. My nieces and nephews are a few years younger than me. And so I was playing school with them, and we had a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Did vacation Bible school and Sunday school. I even got to teach Sunday school. And then when I was a junior in high school, I had the opportunity in one of it was FHA then. It was one of the classes that we were taking, and we got to go to the elementary and work in the elementary classrooms. And here I was, a junior in high school, getting to be in Debbie Scott's first grade classroom. And she was an amazing teacher, and she was amazing for letting me come in and work with her groups, work with her reading groups, work with, cut out laminating, do bulletin boards. And I loved it. I loved every second of it. It was so much fun. And so I knew when I graduated, I was going to go to school to become a teacher. And I graduated in '88, and I started out at Angelo State. And then my husband and I got married then during that time, and he whisked me away to Tulsa, and I had the opportunity to take a few classes through Northeastern State.
Mm-hmm.
And then we came back to Texas, and I graduated in '94. So I was I was one of the, I guess, long path college career person.
And it's okay. You made it to the
I
end.
got it done. And
yes,
in
ma'am.
'94, I had this letter. It was time to student teach, and I got this letter saying, "Congratulations, you will be at Aubrey Elementary." And I was like, Aubrey, okay. And I really didn't know where Aubrey was. And I found my way up here. And that night they did like a open house or a welcome to student teaching. And I came in, and I was at it's the administration building now. And that was the high school and middle school then. And so I went into what is now the professional room. And that was the cafeteria then. And so I went in there, and we had dinner, and I was like, wow, they feed us here. This is awesome. Right. And so I started my student teaching path there, and I did kindergarten and first grade. And then in June, they hired me to be a teacher. And I went into I was a kindergarten teacher for 3 years. But that first year, I remember them saying, okay, we've got 3 teachers. And it was Sharon Purcell, Marsha Johnson, and myself. We were the 3 teachers. And I remember the conversation of, are we going to get a 4th one? Are we ever going to get a 4th? I think we're going to get a 4th one next year, And now I'm like, we've come full circle, because we were working on 3 teachers, because that was it. We were 3 kindergarten teachers, 1 elementary. And then, I've watched Aubrey grow. And now we've got 3 elementaries. Are we going to get a new elementary? So it's kind of cool to see how we've grown over the course of, and that was in '94. And so I've been here 28 years. Is that right? Doing my math. And, but I did take 5 years off to have children. And when I did that, I had the opportunity to come back, and I was hired as the GT specialist. And so I've hopefully have grown. I mean, I've watched Aubrey grow. And so now I'm like over all of the GT areas,
Right.
like the director of GT also, as well as teaching the classes and monitoring the students. And so it's been fun to watch Aubrey grow.
Sure, sure. And the GT program grow
And
as
the
well.
GT
So
program, exactly. Yeah.
well,
So,
the last couple of years have been a real challenge for a lot of people in education, for teachers and things. And what are some things that you've done to, overcome those challenges, support kids, to help them, have a great experience in our schools, and, just some things that you've done to help make it through those things?
well, I remember when we shut down in March of 20, and it really didn't hit until like the end of March, and it was the 1st of April. And I remember thinking, the first week we were like, oh, we get an extended vacation. Wow, this is cool.
Right.
And then it starts sinking in. We may not go back. What am I going to do? How am I going to keep reaching out to my kids and my students, to keep, I needed that relationship with those kids, and I wasn't finished. I didn't have that closure. And so that's when we found Zoom. And I remember trying to learn the Zoom thing, and we were Zooming, and I was giving projects, and they'd show up, and it would be the best thing, I'd log on and I'd wait for those little faces to start popping up like the Brady Bunch, and we all got together that way, and we made it work that year. And it's cool. I'm going to have to show you my shirt back here. This one right here, it says, that was our shirt that year that we designed. And we designed that shirt in January before we knew everything was going to fall down. And the shirt says, when you fall, get back up again, and I had to keep that spirit alive for those kids. This is just a little bump in the road. We're going to be okay. We're going to get through this. So, we muddled our way through Zoom meetings, and they kept coming and they kept showing up for me. And I loved it. It helped me get through it. I mean, it was tough to see that and not have that closure that year. Then that next year we came back, and it was a great year with our masks on and our dividers up. And we made our way through the year, and the kids were there for me, and I still had some on Zoom, and I got to Zoom with them. So, it worked, and we made it work. And it's like, I was really proud of the district and all of us for just jumping in there. We didn't know what we were doing, and we made it work, and we were okay. And then this year, it seems like it's been a challenge this year. I don't know why. So, but I think because, we've had teachers out, and we've had teachers sick, and I was pulled from my students to go and sub in classrooms, and that was a challenge, and not being able to see my students. But guess what? We kept going. You can't, just like the shirt, when you fall down, get back up again. So we did. We got back up, and we've been okay. We've made it. And now it's the end of April, and I'm not quite ready for it to be over with yet. I'm like, wait, slow down.
And so really what I hear from you a lot is it's just a lot in how we approach it. Right. And,
right.
And you have to persevere. When you fall, you have to get up again, and it may not be perfect, but it certainly can still be a good experience, and just fighting through some of that adversity.
And that's a theme that I try to instill in these children, because you've just got to learn to persevere and keep pushing through. It's not always going to be roses and flowers all the time. We're going to have some rough times, but it's the way you handle it. How are you going to handle
doing
it?
it together?
Doing it together.
We
Exactly.
appreciate our parents.
Yeah, I like that.
And
Yes.
all of
Oh
our
my
staff
goodness.
are
Yes.
really rallying together.
Yes.
It's awesome.
And that's
what
been
is it?
great.
You've been in Aubrey pretty much your whole career. What is it? What is special about teaching in Aubrey ISD?
So, like I said, I think that first night when they fed us, that I work for food, don't I? It has been, this is like, Aubrey is my family. It really, I love my Aubrey family. And I know when I come here, I get the highs and how are yous, and it's the relationships. And I was thinking about this, the relationships that I have now are super important to me, but it's also my students in the past. And I tell my students, once you're mine, you're mine. And I talk about my past students that I've had, be it the kindergartners that I had, just yesterday, 27 years ago. I'm like, wow.
Wow.
I see them. I've stayed in touch. I know they don't remember me like I remember them because they were in kindergarten, but I do have some friends on Facebook that were my kids when they were in kindergarten and first grade. And I've watched these people grow up, these students grow up into adults. And that has been the coolest thing for me to see, to watch them come early and grow up in the amazing things they're doing. And my GT students as well, I've watched them. I say, I love to watch them when they go off to school or when they go off into the military or where they go off into their technical colleges. I love it. And I've loved watching them grow into getting married and parents. And now I have kids. I have a kid in my class now. And I had her mother when I was student teaching here. And so
now, how special is that?
That was really awesome. Cool. When I figured that out, I was like, oh my goodness, this is really cool to see.
It's just a family,
It is. And that, I'm huge on relationships, and it's the relationships that I have loved more than anything. And watching the kids, watching them complete their projects and being proud of their projects. And that's the cool part of what I get to do. We work on something and then they produce a project for me, or, and it's been fun to watch their pride come through too, and how they work through problems. And that's what I've really enjoyed.
Thinking about the future and if there's somebody out there that's watching this, that's thinking about becoming a teacher or getting an education, or even thinking about coming to Aubrey ISD, what advice would you have for them?
I say, come join. It is definitely a special group. Educators. Even if I'm not with them here, but my educator friends that I have throughout, wherever, it's definitely a bond that we have. It's about nurturing these people and helping them become what they want to be, where it's always cool to watch them come back and be a teacher. I do. I'm always excited to see that,
Right.
But I love, that's, what I've enjoyed as a teacher, like I said, the relationships, seeing them, it's kind of like watching a flower. Is this, you get them and then you watch them grow and develop. And as a teacher, you get to do that. You get to feed them, get to water them, you get to, do all of that. And then you get to see it at the end of the year or at the end of, 5 years. If you start with them in kindergarten, you get to watch them grow. And then, like when you go, I love this, when you go over to the middle school, you go to the high school, and they see you and they're like, oh, remember me, and I'm like, do you remember me? And it's all that relationship again,
You're their teacher for the rest of their life.
You are. And I tell the students, I said, you're mine forever. And they're like, are you a stalker? And I'm like, yes, I'm a stalker. I will stalk you. I will watch you and cheer you on. I'm the biggest, and Aubrey is such a supportive, just like with our, and it doesn't matter what it is, band, football, track, academic, drama, or the theater. We are all cheering for everybody. We're cheering. And I love that about Aubrey too. They are in it to support, those kids. And it's so fun to watch them and cheer them on.
Absolutely.
As they go on.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for spending a little time with me and doing this conversation, and appreciate you and all the things that you do for our kids and just the investment that you make in them and other teachers. And so thank you for that. So everybody, we appreciate you watching, and we'll see you soon.
All right.